Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to show you how to turn some of my new wooden numbers into a rusty metal canvas. So not very many products to play with today, but these are the two new number sets that I was referring to. So these are the, I'm doing them the right way around, these are the big numbers. So these measure obviously different widths because they're different style characters, and obviously the 3 is wider than the 1 kind of thing, which stands to reason, but they're all about 1.5 inches in height. So those are the big numbers, and obviously you do get 2 of each number in the set, but the other set is what I'm calling the bigger numbers. So these are 2.5 inches high. So these are also big enough to fit onto an ATC. So if I grab an ATC, there you go. So that's well big enough to fit either way on an ATC. So you could do a quick number themed kind of ATC set if you wanted to. So those are cut from 2000 micron Medite, which is the kinder to the environment version of MDF. So 2000 micron, or it's 2 millimeters thick, so they are quite sturdy and quite chunky when you're using them as embellishments for a little canvas. So I've popped out all of the small, all the small numbers, all of the big numbers and all of the bigger numbers from a set to play with today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little bit of a composition on this 4-inch by 6-inch mini canvas. It's just a flat canvas, canvas board. I believe it's from Jackson's, which is, I think it's a British brand. I could be wrong. I have been about so many things often. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomly start sticking down some of these larger numbers, bigger numbers, larger numbers, bigger numbers, just by using a little bit of PVA. So this is Indigo Blue's grab and go glue, which does grab exactly as it says. So it grabs quickly. You don't really need a huge amount for it to stick. And I'm just going to randomly put numbers from the bigger numbers collection. Just stick them down around the canvas, but close enough. Let's have a number 3. We like number 3s. We don't like number 2s. What do I mean? I'll tell you later. It's disgusting. It's a quote from one of my favourite films, that Clue, starring every practical comedy genius there is: Tim Curry, Eileen Brennan, Madeline Kahn. Ooh. So just push that up a little bit. We've got a little bit of wheel room before it does grab, so there we go. And then let's have the number 5 up top. And of course you could create a nice little mixed media canvas for a special numbered birthday if you're doing it as a gift, you know, for one of those significant dates. Just use them in your art journals because they're thin enough not to add too much bulk to your pages, but deep enough to give you some nice texture. Right, so I'm going to move on to the smaller numbers now. I'm saying smaller numbers, the big numbers from the big number set, the 1.5 numbers, I should really call them, really, shouldn't I? And then we can just start feeding in those numbers into the collections. We've got a 6 there, so let's do a number 9. So just filling in where the gaps are. Let's put a a 0 in, a nothing, or as they used to say, or still say where I was born and brought up, nout. Put a nout in there. Alright, and I think we've pretty much got like the first layer down. So what I need to do is just let that, maybe just move that up a tad. There we go. Squidge that in a bit closer. Just let that dry for a minute or two, and then I'll add my first coat of paint. Then I'll come back in and add a second layer, or possibly even a third layer of the numbers over the top of those when it's dry. So I'll be right back. So it's been a minute or two, so they should be dry enough now for me to add first coat of gesso. So all I'm going to do now is just go all the way around the canvas, covering everything. So the first coat of gesso is done. I can just see if I catch the light there where the numbers are. So what I'm going to do now is just use the same glue again and add another layer of numbers. So we'll use the number 9. So we'll put that up there, and then the number 7, and you don't have to use all of the numbers. Like so, and then we'll do the number 1. Rather a low flying aeroplane. We have an aerodrome not too far away, so we do get a lot of low flying aircraft, mostly propeller, light aircraft, which is all good fun. We even had a biplane fly over the other day. Right, so number 3, so we've got one number 3 there, so let's add another number 3 here. And we have got more of those big numbers as opposed to the bigger numbers than we have of those other ones, because there's more in the set. So let's put a number 5 there, and I'm just pretty much just layering where I think they look good. Just using my intuition. Now I'm not going to put a 6 next to the 9 there, that's just a bit too much. Rude. Alright, so let's have, I've got 2, 9, a 0 there. Let's add another 5 down at the bottom. Should we add another number 2? No, let's not add it. Oh, decisions. Anyway, let's have another number 4. Just to create a nice kind of cluster. maybe a smaller number 2 up there at the top. Just to kind of break things up. Yeah, I like that. Okay, what I'm going to do again is I'm going to let that sit and grab for a minuet or two. Let me just grab a small brush as well, a bit of water, because I just want to try and take away the excess glue while it's still wet. And most of it will disappear under the next coat of gesso anyway, but you know, they'll do nicely. Right, so I'll let that sit for a minute, and then I'll add another coat of black gesso over the top. So as soon as you've seen me do that already, I'll come back when that second layer is painted with the black and dried, because it's just repetition then. All right, see you in a little while. All right, so that second layer is now dry. I'm hoping the camera's picking that up. If there's any bits of it that are really shiny, it just usually means that the gesso hasn't fully dried just yet. But there's still plenty of time for that to dry before we add on our final colour layers. So I just want to add on a few more numbers just because we can, but only 1 or 2, just to kind of create that third jumbled layer together, if you know what I mean. So I want to add in like a number 4 there, and then I think I will add in a number 8 in there too, just to kind of create a little bit more depth. So let's add a number 8 there. Let's bring that down a little bit so it's catching on all those numbers. The glue will disappear. It'll dry completely clear. And then maybe, we've got a number 7 there already, we've got a 6 there already. We've got 2 there, a 2 there. A big number 3 there, so let's add in a smaller number 3. Just about there. And it's all really just about where you think and where it feels right. Because you don't have to add every single one. Just wanted a couple around there. That was just going to create that depth. And I'm just wondering whether or not to add in another number 7. I might. No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to just stick with what I've got for now. So again, I'm going to allow this to dry, clear up the excess glue, let that dry, and then get it painted in black gesso again, and then I'll be back when we're ready to do the next layer. So I'm just going to remove that excess glue just with a little bit of water. And it's as easy as that, really. Okay, so like I said, let me do that and I'll be right back. So that third layer is now dry. As you can see, all covered in the black gesso, and I've dug out, he says throwing it on the floor, and I dug out an old Finnabar wax. So this is, you can tell it's old because it's still in the tin. All the new ones are now in these kind of like tubes. So this is brushed iron, and as you can see, it's kind of dry. so it'll be easy to pick up. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go around the whole of the canvas now, dropping in this brushed iron wax. And I'm using a soft bristled brush, which has enabled me to get right into the base of the actual canvas itself to pick up, to deposit down some of that fabulous wax. Oh, look at that already. And I'm varying the position. I'm not dry brushing as such. I'm actually wanting to push in and give everything a really nice kind of metallic coat. And I can come back over, adding more as and where I see fit. But those numbers have really started to jump off that canvas now. But I'm not particularly looking for an all over perfect coverage. There we go. Don't mind if some areas are darker, some areas are lighter than others. Loving that. Okay, so I just want to leave it for a minute or two for it just to kind of set and dry. But look at that lovely sheen on there now. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so that brushed iron wax has had quite a bit of time just to kind of dry and set. Now the canvas actually is still warm with all the heat that I've been putting into it, so it shouldn't really take all that long. So what I've got here is a pot of the indigo blue translucent acrylic paint in the 22 karat gold colour. Now I can tip it because it's nearly empty. Well, it's half empty anyway, look, you can see, and because I've used this quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a fairly sized blob and I'm going to put it down onto my work mat here because I want to create a really nice kind of runny consistency for this to do some drippage. I'm just going to add some water to my mat and then create a nice runny consistency paint. So this colour is, if you're familiar with your traditional paint colours, this is probably as close to the, I can't even say the word, so I'll just use the abbreviation for it, the Quin Gold that you can get. quinacridone gold or whatever it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in now and I'm going to start adding it just in areas around the canvas. Especially down here where we've got lots of overlap in those characters. The cardinal numbers. Let's get some at the top there. And this colour creates a really nice kind of rusty effect. So now we're going to just spritz that and get it moving. Now you see the water sitting on top of the wax now. Just in those same sort of places that you'd get it if it was actually iron and rust. And I'm going to pick up some more and drop that in. Give it a bit of a shake backwards and forwards, get it running up and down, side to side if you want to. Just pretty much just throw it wherever you fancy. All right, so I'm going to have a quick tidy up and clean up, and then I'm going to let that dry au naturel. I'm not going to get the heat gun on it at all. I'm going to leave it to dry as is for a good couple of hours probably. So I will see you in a little while, because it won't be a couple of hours for you, it'll only be a couple of seconds. Okay, so we're back and it is pretty much dry now. As you can see, all that orangey 22 karat gold acrylic paint has dried beautifully to create a gorgeous kind of rusty effect in all those nooks and crannies. Now, if you don't have access to that particular type of paint, you can just use a bog standard orange acrylic paint, or if you're lucky enough to have some of the Colourcraft Brushos, the colour Gamboge, which is an orangey colour, works really well. Also, if you're wanting to do a rust effect, you could just use one, the other, or if you really wanted to, use all three for a really nice layered effect. So there you go. That is how I turned my wooden numbers into rusty metal. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this little canvas today. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, as it really does help me and the channel. Don't forget you can share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking that button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.